Yo, what is up? My name is Sven, and today we're gonna talk about 50 things that you did not know about Rust. Now, I obviously expect that some of you might already know some of the tips and tricks that I'm showing in this video, but this video is more made for the tips that you didn't know, and especially more towards the lower amount of hour players that are watching this video. Now, enjoy the video, and I hope it can be helpful. Special thanks to Rusty Saloon for sponsoring today's video. Rusty Saloon is a brand new skin gambling website for Rust skins with modes such as Roulette and Crash and a bunch more. If you want to try out the website, use code SVEN for a 50-cent starting bonus. Please gamble responsibly. Large oil rig has pipes on the bottom that you can walk on. They are great for holding, for counters, and this is how you get up to them. Placing a tier 3 in front of a window that has a floor behind it, that could for example be a jump up, can give you really good angles to kill people from. Now also from enemy POV it is really hard to hit someone doing this. It only costs about 10 to 14 incendiary shotgun shells to destroy a SAM site at launch. This is by far the cheapest and most convenient way to destroy a SAM site. Since a recent update in Rust, there's new hiding places in launch site that you don't get radiation at. Now this is my favorite spot, but there's different ones. I like this one because there's a crate spawn and you have access to the stairway that leads you all the way to the top, which allows you to loot all the elite crates. The fastest way of buying max amount of items at vending machines is by selecting the number and spamming any number on your keyboard. It will automatically go to the highest number and you can click buy. Now this is a lot faster than clicking the plus sign. On any Rust server that has faster recycling, for example on Stevius, there is a way to recycle even faster. In this case on Stevius, if you turn off the recycler after it has recycled 2 items or 2 item stacks and turn it back on, it will reset its cycle and it will recycle a lot faster in total time. Here's the difference. If you're a solo player in general, or if you're a player that's online alone, a good way to still recycle at Outpost is by using a mini and by using a little bit more extra fuel. What you can do is you can land at the recycler, leave the mini running while you recycle. This way no one can push your mini and you can recycle. It will cost a bit of low grade, but that's the only cost. Now if someone does get into your heli, here are some examples of how you can get people out. A very cheap way to research medical syringe is by using the tier 3 workbench and by doing the tech tree. After you place your tier 2, it only costs 200 scrap. And it doesn't cost a medical syringe to learn the medical syringe BP. There's this alternative way to run the military tunnels monument. Still need to do the exact same things, although at the end, when you're about to go into the red room, there's an alternative way in. This can be very useful to know, for example, if people are camping it, or if you plan on ambushing people doing it. Once again, at military tunnels, you can jump on both of the side pipes, going all the way down into the main area. You can jump up on multiple spots, also down there, and if you have a teammate to boost you, you can jump up on even more spots. There is an alternative way to loot power plant without using a green card or doing the puzzle switches. You need 2 people and a minicopter, and you land on top of the main building. Then, from the roof, you can push your teammate into this crack, completely avoiding the green card puzzle. Once again, at power plant, there's this very OP pipe angle that you can hold. This is great for holding, for example, the locked crate when it spawns. This is how you enter the pipe, and on top of that, there's also an extra military crate spawn that you can loot. With most multi-TC bases, you're usually unable to replace the core TC. Now in some cases you are actually able to, you just have to get a lot of elevation and you can try and place the TC on the roof. This can definitely save you a raid in worst case. A very effective way to counter oil rig these days is by using diving gear. For just 95 scrap you can buy an entire outfit including a wetsuit, and you can dive down all the way to oil rig and you can wait, for example, for a fight to break out and climb your way up sneakily. Boots have a very high audio range. Anyone wearing boots has really loud footsteps and can be heard from a lot further away than, for example, Hazy footsteps or naked footsteps. A good tip if you want to be sneaky or push someone is to take off your boots if you're wearing any. The rocket side of launch site is a great alternative side of launch that you can loot if you don't want to take as much risks. Not a lot of people know about this loot area, and it can still give you a significant amount of loot. There is a way at Trainyard to loot the green room without actually using a green card, but you need 2 other teammates to boost you. This is how you do it. Using the new drone system in Rust, there's actually a risk-free way to buy a Minicopter. You set up a vending machine at your main base and you sell 750 scrap for a rock. Now it's important you do this with a teammate and you don't enable broadcasting on the vending machine until your second teammate is ready. You can also set up vending machines as a last resort raid type of thing, where you can make a base at, for example, bandit camp or outpost and buy the rockets out your base before raiders get to them. At this point in Rust, there's actually ways to get onto cargo without making a single sound. Now they still haven't really fixed this, and so that's why I'm covering it here. But basically, you can swim in front of cargo and spam F9 and wait until you get pushed into cargo. You could also try and log out and be in your sleep screen and have cargo pass over you and log back in right when cargo is above you. 2 great ways to get low grade AK crude oil is at this area at launch site or under dome. You can build on top of electricity towers. A very risk-free, effective way to get farm from your farm base to your main base is by using the drone system. And with this system, you need 2 players again. And of course, you'd need a vending machine set up at both your main base and your farm base. What you can do is you can get a teammate to, for example, bandit camp or outpost, and you can have a teammate at your farm base that puts up all the farm for sale. The teammate at bandit or outpost buys it, and then the teammate that has the farm sells the farm at a vending machine at your main base, and so the farm will be transferred all the way to your main base. You can push locked crates with, for example, cars or minicopters. Auto turrets can shoot and do damage through chain link fences. Now they only cost 1 rocket to destroy, but it can be useful in some base designs. Using beach bats from the Rust Summer DLC, you can create really weird shooting angles on top of bases. This is especially useful if you're trying to be annoying to someone and if you're setting up some kind of tall raid base that's overlooking another base. It is broken because anyone doing this with a sniper cannot be shot or damaged back because of the angle. For some reason, combining a wetsuit with a riot helmet and a bandana gives you 100% melee protection on the head. Since a recent update in Rust, there's actually particular swamps that you can build in the middle of. Now these swamps have the 2 monument things, like the 2 buildings on the sides that have crate spawns and a green card spawn. When waiting for a server to wipe and you do not have VIP and you know you might get stuck into queue, it can be very helpful to load up into another server first, so that your loading time to the actual server that you're playing on will be faster because you've already loaded something else up. Large batteries are very good deployables to potentially block raiders from getting into your base. Now they only take 1 rocket or 1 incendiary rocket to be destroyed, although due to their size you can definitely block things off and make some plays. It is actually cheaper to damage walls on the soft side rather than on the hard side. For example, if you were to damage a stone wall with explosive ammo, it actually costs 173 explosive ammo for the soft side, but it does cost 185 for the hard side. Ramps are great building blocks for peaks on both your shooting floor but also on your inner peaks. You can shoot through them, but you can walk on them. Now, one thing that some people don't know is that you cannot rocket through them, so don't try it. Siren lights are great and cheap to use to fill up gaps on your peak downs. Triangle foundations actually can have an orientation and can be rotated. This definitely affects things, as recently discovered, for example when you're trying to place boxes close towards the foundations. On the new underground train system, on the train stations there's a place that you can double boost using a train cart, and you have a really sneaky spot to potentially hold upcoming and incoming trains from. A way to check rust skins that not a lot of people know is by doing it through your web browser. You can search Rust item store, and the first thing that pops up from Steam redirects you to the same item store that's currently in the game. Now this store is a lot better because you can actually see pictures that are linked to each skin. You can actually place small boxes on top of vending machines, although it's very unreliable and they'll more likely break randomly. It definitely looks pretty cool though. When driving a work cart in the underground system backwards, it barely takes any damage when driving through roadblocks. It is also a lot harder for incoming teams to hit the driver when driving backwards. This is a very useful way if you do not want to die with all your stuff and you just want to get back to base. Depending on how your base is built, most commonly happening when you're building a 2x2 is the fact that your raised bunker foundations can in some ways be splashed from the outside when raiders are breaking a wall. It is not only easier, but it's also cheaper to craft explosives, low grade, and gunpowder using mixing tables rather than crafting it yourself at a tier 3. Batteries keep their charged when picked up. This can be very useful if you're about to do a raid, or if you have an electrical system that just has power leftovers. You can demolish any building object 10 minutes after placing it with a hammer. But you can expand this 10 minutes if you hold your hammer within 10 minutes on the wall that you want to destroy. Now, as long as you don't take your hammer off the wall, you can still demolish the wall 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours later. Your Ayoka will always shoot the first bullet if you spam R before you start shooting it. A very easy and risk-free way to get some initial scrap is by hitting all the traffic poles and in and around outposts. There's about 12 in total in and around outposts. You can check the health of, for example, a wall that's far away by just shooting it with anything and checking your combat log. The combat log doesn't only show the health, it also shows what type of object you just shot. For example, you can distinct if something is a foundation or not, or if it's a half wall or not. Hollow sight aim cone reduction was secretly patched quite recently in Rust. Now, to have the same effect as before with the hollow sight, you now need to add a laser. When giving the choice to learn gun or ammo, it's always better to learn the gun, because as soon as you craft the gun, it will come with a little bit of ammo inside. This way you could always learn the ammo later and not have to worry about losing it. You can actually mute particular players from the chat in Rust. When you open your chat, you can click on their name and you can click mute. You can also individually mute specific players from just the voice chat in Rust. You need to get the Steam ID of the player that you would like to mute. Then, when you open F1 and you type in your console mute space the Steam ID, it will mute the player in voice. A very useful website that can help you preview Rust maps is rustmaps.com. You can see a lot of information about the map that you're looking for, but you can also see node heat maps, animal heat maps, and much more. Definitely worth to check out. Alright, that was it for this one. I hope you enjoyed this video. Now, I know that I haven't been uploading as much as I wanted to, and that's mostly because I've been sick. I've just had to take a couple of weeks to rest and get better, and that's what I did. Now, I aim to be back with more videos again, and especially more videos like this, but also more base build videos and more gameplay videos. I have so much that I can't wait to share with you all. Now, I hope you're all taking care of yourselves, and I'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.